All right. What is up, everyone? And welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 112. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by the Dress Sphere Master himself, the dominant, Mr. Bryant.
Yeah, so I just realized that on the 19th is my year anniversary of being on this podcast, so this might as well be my year anniversary,
Happy anniversary.
episode. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's right. It's been a year. We've had Bryant on this podcast for a year. So, yeah, and I see you've got some Jet Set Radio shirt. Did you get that from the official Sega store?
yeah, I got it from Amazon. But I think Sega has a store on Amazon or something like
Yeah.
that. And the Crazy Taxi one I was thinking of getting, and then I saw they had a Shadow the Hedgehog one that was pretty cool too.
Oh,
But so
I'm gonna have
far,
to look
just
at that
rocking the
one.
Jet Set. That's probably my favorite.
I'm have to look at that one, the Shadow the Hedgehog one.
Same here, man.
I know Capcom has a Amazon store. They have like Resident Evil 4, Mega Man
They do.
Battle Network.
They
The
do.
Mega
They
Man
got
Battle
all that.
Network looks really dope. I've been wanting to get those shirts. I'm glad that we're getting like more stuff in general when it comes to like t-shirts, because I feel like you go to the store, it's the same shirts over and over. It's like, all right, it's Mario, and it's like the same like Sonic art, and then of course there's like a bunch of Dragon Ball Z shirts. You don't get the unique shirts out there. So I'm glad that they're doing that and putting their stuff out there. But we also got the fanboy himself, Mr. Phaneckswhy.
What's up? What's up? Yeah,
And-
I'm wearing a non-gamer Harry Potter.
It looks
It's a
almost
def-
like
I'm wearing a-
Potter.
it's
looks
a
gamer
Dementors.
to me.
Yeah, it kind of looks almost like Elden Ring-ish.
It is. I was gonna say that. I was like, is that
yeah.
an Elden Ring shirt?
Speaking of, I beat Elden Ring today, and I feel so good about it. I kind of cheated a little bit since I was on PC. I was able to copy my save file like 5 different times so I can get all the endings and shit. I ain't trying to go back do the same playthrough just to get a different ending. I'm trying to get all the achievements. But yeah.
Nice. And that was the Grace Ace Attorney, the great Ace Attorney himself, Mr. Ash Destroyer.
Am I still that old, man? You know how old he is, bro?
You're the great Ace Attorney. I don't
back
Kind of
then,
like
bro.
Grace Ace Attorney. That's cool. The Grace Ace
Grace
Attorney.
Ace Attorney. There we go.
I don't know if I got
Grace.
Grace though. That's debatable.
What title would you prefer? What is you said Apollo Justice is your favorite Ace or attorney, right? From Ace
Oh
Attorney.
no, Phoenix Wright is still my favorite.
That's right.
Apollo's my
What's his
second.
title? What's his title? Does he have a title?
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
just
attorney,
he,
right?
Back then he was just the rookie runner-up attorney, and now he's just. I mean, they never actually called him the Ace Attorney. That was just a given title. A fun fact: Gyakuten Saibon just literally means great turnabout in the Japanese. So over in the West, they just changed the title to Ace Attorney, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I don't know. I think great Ace Attorney, man. I don't know why I can't say that. Great Ace Attorney sounds cool. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like it.
I like it too. See, I think
Yeah.
you're the.
And that
You're
means
the
that
great
people
Ace
think that Ash is a lawyer.
Yeah, that's true. People might start, messaging you like, "Hey, Ash, we got some
Legal advice.
legal
Probably like-
legal advice." Nintendo might start messaging you.
Hey man, I got no badge. I got no badge on my suit, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. So.
Oh man. Well, as always, there is quite a bit to talk about this week. Some fun, I think, topics that we got this week. Not a lot of like major news, but still some fun topics to discuss. But before we get into that, as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over on Twitch, follow on Twitch. And if you have Prime, feel free to go ahead and use that Prime sub on the channel. It does help out quite a bit. Before we get into talking to some major news, we are not going to talk about what we've been playing yet. We'll do that probably towards the end. But I do want to do a little bit of like housekeeping, I guess you can say, on a couple of things. Starting off with socials. So the channel does have Twitter, and I did create also a Blue Sky account. I've actually that Blue Sky account I've had for quite some time, I want to say almost a year. I just don't do anything much. So I will be posting on both. So for those of you who are leaving Twitter and want to see whatever I say on Blue Sky, I'm gonna try to mirror them both. I wish there was an easy way, like one client that does both. So like if I'm talking about something, it could just post automatically on both. But I don't know. Maybe somebody will come up with something like that that'll allow it to be just a lot easier to post. So I am available on there. So definitely, it's called, I think it's the Random Encounter. What is it? .blue sky or something like that? .app or something.
I think you can just put in the first part, and I think it still finds it.
It still finds it? Okay, so there you go. And the logo is the same. So the same logo that's on the YouTube channel and on Twitch. It is the same logo, so you'll know it's me. You'll see the past posts of that. So I am available on those. Going in with the podcast, streaming, and videos, we are getting into that holiday season, so things are going to be a little bit more difficult. For example, the week of Thanksgiving, the weekend of Black Friday, we will not be doing a podcast that weekend, mainly because I work retail, and yeah, like that's a little bit difficult to do that. Very, very busy weekend, so it's going to be hard to do any of that stuff. So not promising a video. We'll probably do a couple streams. We'll probably do them earlier in the week, but we will not have a podcast that week unless we decide otherwise. Maybe we pick a different date or anything like that. Same thing, the week of Christmas. I want to say the week of Christmas or the week after Christmas, one of those. We might not do the podcast after that, but of course, going into January, we'll be on our regular schedule. So as always, the holiday season is just difficult. Everyone wants to rest, relax, and do, pretty much just wind down before the new year. So that's pretty much what's coming up there. And I wanted to discuss before we get to topics, Black Friday. For those of you who live in the US, we know that Black Friday is a good time of the year. Well, I don't want to say a good time of the year to buy, because I feel like all year long you can buy some good stuff. I want to see what you guys meaning Fan, Bryant, and Ash, what are you guys thinking of picking up Black Friday? Are you eyeing anything specific? Are you trying to see if something drops off, something that you really want? I want to know. Let's start with you, Bryant, because you get that thinking face, and I feel like you're eyeing something.
Yeah, I mean, like I have a bunch of stuff that's wish listed right now, so I know
Mhm.
when like Cyber Monday or Black Friday drops on
Mhm.
PSN and Steam and Xbox, that I know I'm gonna have to spend a fortune to grab the things that have been on my wish list for like over a year or whatever. I don't really know off the top of my head. Like I would like to buy Silent Hill on PS5, and a few other things that are kind of just lingering there that I'll want to grab eventually. But as for like anything physical, like computer or tablets, um, memory cards, hard drives, like I'm pretty much set with everything. So I don't think there's gonna be much. I mean, I'm keeping my eyes on the lookout for the Asus ROG Ally X to drop for you, James, so you can get that price match. But other than that,
Yeah,
I'm pretty set.
I appreciate that. That actually is very, very thoughtful. That's actually pretty cool. I've been eyeing that too, because the $100 back would definitely help me out into investing in something else, like maybe the Ein Odin Portal or something like that, or a new
Oh,
CPU or GPU,
New
something else.
Yeah.
CPU.
Yeah.
For your Alex, here's mine, right? Can you hear?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't hear any of the.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So mine is perfectly fine. I
Yeah,
don't know what's going on with yours, man.
yeah, mine
by
is
the way-
weird. What was that?
By the way, I managed to snag one of the new AMD processors, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I
Did
got
you?
one from
congrats,
my
Nice.
friend.
What do you have right now?
I have the latest 3D one, the second
The
newest 3D one. What's it?
58.
No,
No, it was the
70
the 7800X 3D, I think it is.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Oh, you got
AM5,
that
yeah.
one.
It's still AM5. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now I've been debating on upgrading to that one, because unfortunately, yeah, the newest one, the 9800X 3D is too expensive for me right now.
Yeah, it's
then-
like
Can you use mine?
$550.
No, I would have to buy a new motherboard. Yeah, because
Okay.
that one's like
And-
$500, and then a motherboard is like, they're not cheap. Like the motherboards for those are pretty expensive.
Like $200, $250.
Yeah. Minimum,
I'll be
which
looking
is
to sell
nuts.
this processor, so anybody that is interested,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd have to get a new motherboard and DDR5. Like you can't
Mhm.
even reuse your
It's a
DDR4.
it's a whole new computer at that point. So
Yeah, exactly, and just it is what it is. Yeah, what about you, Fan? Black Friday. What are you thinking of getting, if anything?
Just monitors, to be honest, for
Okay.
work.
For
Work stuff.
Oh, okay.
Work, yeah, for work. Because I have a 24-inch monitor. All my work monitors are 24 inches,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just thinking of swapping out one of them for a 27-inch because one of them is vertical, so it's shorter with my other two monitors stacked on top of each other. But if I got a 27-inch, it'd be almost like a big box because it's next to it. So
Yeah.
just aesthetic for me. So, but LG has a deal going on where it's like $100 for a 27-inch monitor. And I'm thinking of snagging two of them. I've been eyeing it. I just, been debating if I should do it or not.
I hear you in that. What about you, Ash?
A OLED ultra wide. I've been eyeing at those for like a good bit now, for like a whole almost year and a half.
Okay.
Once I get that, I wanted to get like a couple of maybe like 2 monitor mounts, because I didn't realize how much desk space you would get once you mount one of those things onto like a actual mount and everything. So I want to aim for that. I think the whole layout I want to do is I want to have the ultra wide at the center, and on the side it would be one of my older gaming monitors in vertical mode, and I have my one of my bigger monitors on top of the ultra wide, tilting, looking at me around at like a 85 to 80 degree angle and stuff. Hoping to get that by the end of the year and stuff, depending on how things go. But it pretty much further opened my eyes when I started this new job with this company this year and stuff, and how they have some of their ultra wide set up and how they're able to do productivity management a lot better compared to like a triple monitor setup or something like that. So I wanted to get an OLED ultra wide for both for productivity and gaming purposes, especially gaming. That'll be fun. So, but yeah, that's my overall goal. Don't really care for upgrading my PC. I already love it where it's at right now. I was able to achieve everything I wanted to achieve, especially at 4K 120 for most part. So there's no need for it to upgrade. Now I was a bit hyped for the 9800X that just came out, and I was like, "Ooh, nice! I definitely could afford to upgrade," but I had to stop and think about it. Do I really need to upgrade? And came
Yes.
to the conclusion of no. And I'm like,
What do you have
nope.
right now?
I just have the 5800X. It's
Okay,
been
15.
serving me well for like good 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
It all really just comes down to the person and what they're playing, and as long as you're within your needs of that processor or whatever part you have in your
Mhm.
computer, then you're fine for the most part. So
Yeah, what's funny is what on mine out, of course, is the AMD CPU, mainly the 5700X3D, because that'll be a significant bump from what I have, which is the Ryzen 5 5600. It's not even the X; it's just the 5600, and that'll be a
Mm.
pretty big bump there in terms of CPU performance, which would help out with streams, right?
oh yeah, I vouch
Quite a
for that.
bit,
Yeah.
and also games, because like Final Fantasy 16, I cannot do a triple stream like what I'm doing now plus play that game because it just crashes. I think mainly it's because I'm using DLSS, and because I'm using DLSS, a lot of like the overhead goes to the CPU. So 5700X3D would help out. The other thing I'm trying to eye out is a possibly I'm still debating, but I'm looking at a 4070 Super, mainly because I don't know, I got comfortable with Nvidia, and while I am still eyeing out an AMD GPU, I just feel, I don't know, I just feel comfortable with Nvidia, even though all the handhelds have AMD, and I'm used to that stuff. But that's pretty much the stuff that I'm eyeing out. Newegg actually has a great deal that I thought about, because I'm looking to, once I get the 5700X 3D, I'm probably gonna put my current CPU aside and give it to my son. And Newegg actually has a pretty good deal when it comes to a bundle where if you buy the 5700X 3D, you get free 32 gigs of RAM, and you also get you can also get a motherboard, and it's about like $300,
Yeah,
which
that's not
is
bad.
actually, yeah, it's actually cheaper than that. It's the current motherboard that I have right now, which is nice. And then of course you're getting the processor, and then 32 gigs of RAM at 3200 megahertz,
At
which
that point, you can buy like a $50 case and a $100 power
Mhm.
supply, and you got another PC.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
true. But that one would be a backup. Rather than that would be a backup, and or not backup, rather I would like give the CPU and then the motherboard to my son to upgrade at least his PC from that, because you know what it has fans, because that used to be
Yeah.
your PC.
Yep.
So that's what I'm eyeing out. But I'm trying to see. Well, waiting to see if Newegg does something more. Hopefully, if not, is what it is. And yeah, that's really the main thing that I kind of want. There's some other stuff that I want to get, like a new lens, but I doubt that would be on sale. I'm looking at a Sigma lens because the current lens is pretty decent. My only issue is I don't think the focal point is that great, because I have it set so that it's supposed to defocus the background. And like when I point, it defocuses, but that's it. Like right here, I should be in focus, and my door should be defocused, and it's not. So I don't know.
Are those the stock lens, I'm assuming?
It is, yeah. And it's
Yeah,
weird. It has a defocus mode here, which I have turned on, and it's not doing its job.
It's a hit or miss when it comes to using stock lens with DSLR cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just you got to
Their
play
f
with it.
stop just might not be wide enough.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just not doing great. What I do like about it though, because the focus point, right? If I put, let's say, like trunks up front, you see it focuses on it and it does blur out the background. But like if I'm right here, it won't do that. And I don't know. It's not a big deal, but I like to overthink things. Like I'm using a different LUT right now, and I'm upset with my LUT. I don't like the way the colors are kind of going through, but at the same time, the other LUTs I have, they're too dark. And when they're too dark, I have to put this light even brighter, and I don't want to do that. So,
yeah, it's trial and error.
Yeah,
for the most part, so
one of those things. Like you could ask my wife. I've been messing with this camera like nonstop, trying to get the best look out of it. But this seems to be the most decent LUT. That it's nice. I don't have to put this light super bright and all that other stuff. But yeah, that is our Black Friday, I guess, wish list. We'll see what we get and what comes out next, or not this Friday. Yeah, next Friday, because man, next Friday is already Black Friday, and then soon it's just 2025,
Christmas, and then
yeah,
next year.
Time goes by fast.
Yeah, 2025, and then Switch 2. The next event, Switch 2. So it'll be interesting. And Metroid Prime 4 finally is going to be here.
And hopefully 2 and 3 one day.
Hopefully. I feel that they are going to still announce it somehow, because 2025 as of right now, it's super dry. What do we know is coming? We have Donkey Kong in January, and Xenoblade Chronicles X was what, March, did it say?
Yeah, March.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's March.
I think that's it. So there's no February game. And then I guess we know Metroid Prime 4 is coming out next year. We just don't know when. That's about it when it comes to Nintendo games.
I got a question for you guys then. Which game would you think will come out first? GTA 6 or Metroid Prime 4?
Ooh, that's
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, I'll say Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I think GTA 6 is a holiday game, right? So November, where Metroid Prime 4, if the Switch 2 launches like in the summer, which I feel like it is, then Metroid Prime 4 will be a launch game. That's my theory, though. We'll see. We'll be back.
How about you, Fan?
Honestly, probably Metroid Prime 4, because they keep pushing the GTA 6 stuff back.
I mean, singles for Metroid Prime 4. It could be one of those jokes
Metroid Prime 4.
We got GTA 6 before Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Dude. The jokes online about GTA 6 are great. I love them so much. I just wonder how it's gonna pan out 2025, So
we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and start with our first topic of the day. And this first topic, I'm actually going to shut up because I have nothing to say on this topic. It's actually going to go over to Bryant, because Bryant is actually going to give us the rundown on the PS5 Pro, his impressions, and what he thinks about it. And if this is one thing I want you to tell us, Bryant, right? Trade-in is not an option, right? To lower the price. Do you think it's worth $700 without trade-in, just out of there, versus buying something like, or just versus getting the regular PS5, right? So we'll just compare it that way to make it easy.
Do you want me to give you my impressions as well on top of that?
Yeah, do the impressions first, and then at the end you can let us know what you think overall in terms of that. Yep.
Okay, so the game I've played the most that utilizes the PS5 Pro's enhancement is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I got to the chapter where you get to Castel del Sol. I restarted the game completely on hard mode because I decided I wanted to play through it again on hard mode, and use my PlayStation 5 Pro as the catalyst for that. So I just got past the chapter on the boat, so I'm in Castel del Sol. So the best way that I can kind of describe how I feel about the visual upgrades of the PlayStation 5 Pro is it's kind of like if you had a Ferrari and you were a nearsighted person and the car is like out in your driveway and you're in your house, and it's like at the eye doctor, like you and Ash, do you have contacts in, or do you wear glasses at all, or no?
No.
Okay, so when you go to the eye doctor, I used to have glasses until I got LASIK in 2016. At the eye doctor, they do this thing where they put your face in front of this machine and you have to like say 1 or 2 on which lens is clearer for you. I'm sure Fan and James, you know what I'm talking about. And so I would say it's like if the PlayStation 5 visuals is like a Ferrari in your driveway and you're in your house, like if you have a PlayStation 5, like you still have the Ferrari, But if you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, it's kind of like the optometrist putting like a one on your lens, and it looks sharper. And you're like, yeah, that does look better. Like, no doubt that looks better. And that's kind of like how I feel about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Is it runs at a solid 60, and it's very clear because there's a lot of blur in the original Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, like when you're playing on base hardware, to the point where it's a little distracting. And when you play it on 60 frames per second in 4K, it's very clear. It is crystal clear, and that's really important for a fast-paced game where the battle system is as dynamic as it is. It can really add a lot, and you can see a lot more, and it just kind of it's just a bit more nice to look at. So, would I say it is absolutely 100% essential for somebody? No. I would say that it's more so if you're in the ecosystem and PlayStation 5 is your place to play. I would say don't bother getting a PlayStation 5 if and just get a PlayStation 5 Pro. But if you're like a Steam player for your most of your gaming, or if you're Xbox player for most of your gaming, and you kind of like or Switch for that matter, and you kind of have like PlayStation 5 is like a side console, then I'd say just stick with your PS5 and you're fine. But if like your main place is PlayStation 5 Pro, I would say do that. Same thing goes for Horizon Forbidden West. I played that on my PlayStation 5 Pro. It's the same thing, like where it's at 60 frames, and it's just crazy smooth and very clear. Same goes for Stellar Blade. They have a couple of modes for PlayStation 5 Pro, and again, it's silky smooth. If like 60 frames per second is really valuable to you, or more, like sometimes games utilize like the VRR and stuff depending on your TV. If that stuff is really important to you and you have the technology to use it, then absolutely, I think it's worth it. Also, I upgraded the hard drive in my PlayStation 5 Pro. I changed it from, well, I mean, you have the internal storage of 2 terabytes, but then I added an SSD as well. And just like opening it up, it just feels so much more well built than a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 5 Slim. It just feels like a very hefty, sturdy machine. Like, because like when you open up the panel, at least on the other consoles, I feel like I was always going to break off those clips. But when I did it on my PlayStation 5 Pro, it felt really nice, really sturdy. And so I installed the
Hmm.
new hard drive and stuff. And yeah, so again, just to kind of go over it, it's a really nice console. If PlayStation 5 is your main place, get one. But if not, then it's not make or break by any means.
Gotcha. Do you feel like your purchase was like warranted? Like you're happy to have it, or do you feel like it's just
Yeah,
like
because PlayStation 5 is my main place to play, so, and it's my favorite ecosystem. So I was gonna buy it. I want to have the best looking games I can. It's worth it to me, and especially considering I'm selling my old one. Oh, and then on top of that too, Sony has this thing where if you use the PlayStation card, you get 15 times points between like now and December.
mm,
And I got like a PlayStation 5 Pro, and that's gonna be so many points, so I might get like a free game or two out of it with my points. So that again, that kind of adds to the value as well, non-intentionally.
yeah.
Interesting.
Now I gotta say, like, some of the reviews I've seen, they're positive, right? I think a lot of people, or it's one of those things where they showed it off, and the way they showed it off was not great. People were just laughing, but you got to think like YouTube compression and stuff like that does not do a good job in terms of reality and what you see. And the people who actually have it in front of them are saying that it is pretty noticeable. A lot of it, I think, is definitely due to PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which is upscaling technique, right? DLSS, FSR, stuff like that. And I like that, but I don't like that. I have this weird thing that I don't like, I guess, fake, if that makes sense, right? Like, it's doing techniques to upscale it, but to me, I don't know. There's just something about me in my head. It's just like, well, that means what you're looking at is fake because it's using all these techniques to get that done. I
You're
mean,
getting
I don't
real
know. That's just me.
philosophical here, James. It's all
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. That's just me, but that's the future. Everything is DLSS, FSR. Now we got PSSR. The Switch 2 is rumored to utilize DLSS as well, or something similar to that. We've already seen a couple Switch games that uses FSR. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But I think it's cool. Like I what I do like about it is you can get more juice out of lower hardware, which in terms with the PS5 Pro, it's a little bit beefier, but because of PSSR, it's almost a lot beefier, which is why a lot of games could run out at higher resolution at higher frame rates at the same time, and you get like crisper images, or the blur is gone away in a lot of games and stuff like that. In other ways, like I was seeing Spider-Man, the crowd density is a lot more because of this, which is pretty cool. So I think it's cool. What was that?
There's reflections and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like the windows and in puddles. Finally, there's reflections. They kind of made a joke out of that after the original
Yeah.
Spider-Man had those puddles.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alan Wake 2, I haven't played it, but I saw there's a lot of like water reflection and glass reflection as well in those where it was just kind of blurry before. Now
Yeah.
it's a lot more crystal.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't think it's the PlayStation 6. It's not. I would say it's probably about the same kind of bump as the PS4 Pro was, just maybe like in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just kind of
Yeah.
depends. I wouldn't say it's essential, but I wouldn't say it's junk either. Not by any stretch of the imagination is it junk or worthless or something like that.
Yeah. And I know like the thoughts on that. People try to defend that the PS4 Pro was needed because we did move from 1080p to 4K at that point. But the funny
That's a big
part
jump.
was that a lot of games didn't really run at 4K. They were kind of upscaled and stuff like that. So that was always funny. But I do think like we're not ready for 8K. 8K TVs don't really sell, right? Like I'm not out there looking for 8K, but that's just me.
I
And
don't think we
Mhm.
need 8K like at all. I think our
Yeah.
limit is 4K, to be perfectly honest with you.
Your eyes aren't gonna like be able to tell the pixel difference between 4K and 8K anyway when you're
Yeah.
like so many feet away
The
from the
performance
TV.
loss isn't worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly, it's and you
Like,
salesmen are
your
going to
TV
find
would
a
have
way
to
to
be
sell
like
it.
2 feet in front of you so you can see the difference between 4K and
Diminishing
8K.
returns.
And it would have to be like huge.
They're going to find a way to sell that crap to you, and I'm telling you right now, it's bound to happen. You're going to see a lot of things that say, "Hey, we have these 8K TVs. It's not viable now. This and that. Look at this little minuscule difference, bro. 4K is the limit. Let's call it a day." Let's
Yeah. No,
so.
I agree. Like resolution to me, I kind of don't care no more. Like after playing on my ROG Ally and Steam Deck, I would prefer like crowd density being better or things looking just smoother, cleaner, reflections being better, just lighting in general being better. Because I think you can tell like the difference between those things versus the blurriness, right? Like if your screen is 1080p, you won't tell the difference between I don't know. You can see a lot more differences in terms of just graphics fidelity overall versus resolution, and that's my opinion. I don't know. Do you guys agree with that, or you guys feel like I mean, 1080p and 4K. Let me get that straight. You can see the difference. That is true, but in terms of like where I'm at, I think we'll prioritize graphics fidelity, and of course frame rate. Frame rate goes first over a higher resolution. That's just me. You know.
So like pretty much with resolution, it's more like how blurrier you can get because on a PC you can like literally just literally max out all the graphic fidelity that you want. But if you're playing the game at a 720p, you're still gonna get all that. You're still gonna see all the information, but more pixelated and blurry because there's less pixels that you're looking at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So it all depends on how the devs balance it out on how can they utilize all the graphic fidelity they can possibly can on the current gen hardware without sacrificing too much frame rate at that point, and at the same time also maintain the resolution that they need because there's no point for them to put all that extra stuff in there if the console is going to be still running the stuff at 1080p or something like that, especially if they're trying to sell the console to run at 2K or 4K or something like that and everything. I feel if every game had more time to like marinate, bake them, or like make sure you take your time with them, I feel like these games would have been optimized a lot better, and at that point they would even need to have the PS5 Pro at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of technology that we're using is kind of like kind of excusing a lot of different studios and developers to not try to optimize their game the best way they can possibly can, and it's not really the dev's fault that is causing this to happen. It goes back to money, greed, how fast you want to pump these games out, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
You can compare those games to back in the day where games you used to come in complete in a cartridge or disc or something like that. It's complete. There's bugs in it, obviously, but it's not. It's nothing that will make you worry too much about where you go to a certain area of the game and all of a sudden you go from like 60 frames down to 20 frames. You barely see stuff like that. Nowadays. It's quite common,
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. Like I've said this for quite a while, and I feel like we've said this for a few times on the podcast. That I don't know if it's dev laziness or it's maybe the push from the heads to get games out, but it seems to be more common, and like the power that we have, it's almost like you said, making an excuse for laziness versus better optimization. And it's kind of that thing, like if you're in this small circle and you need to make something fit, you're gonna figure out how to make it fit and optimize that space as possible. Versus if you have, I don't know, like a giant room, then you might not optimize as much. You know, the difference between cable management and just throwing cables on there. I guess that's the best analogy I can give there. And with the power and the performance we have, I do feel that optimization has gotten lower and lower, and we've seen that with a lot of games, you know, shipping broken. It used to be a PC thing, but it's no longer a PC thing. It's a, you know, console thing as well, which is kind of sad. Outside of like Nintendo, I would say Nintendo is probably the only one that really does optimize their game pretty well. You know, and they kind of like, and what I mean by optimize, right? It's they run good to the ability of the Switch. I know people are complaining about Mario and
They're
Luigi.
they're the most optimized. I would say
Mhm.
they're the most optimized games that
Yeah.
you're ever gonna see in the market
Mhm.
so far. And like I know people want to compare apples and oranges between consoles, but like the thing is that when how the way Nintendo handles their games for most of the time, they always try to polish them as well as they possibly can in order for you to give you the best experience.
Yep.
But
Is
they're
it
also
always going to be 100%? No. So
they're also building the game based on what that system can handle.
Mhm.
Where Xbox and Sony, a lot of their games are trying to, you know, do it on PC too. So I think they're just trying to pack in too much stuff, and then they're just assuming we're just going to brute force it.
Yeah.
Just trying to like brute force it through.
they're only brute forcing it mainly because they're just on crunch. That's pretty much what it is. And when they're on crunch, they don't have time to like optimize
Yeah.
like the PC version of it or the Xbox version of it or the PS5 version of it. You know, that just comes down to money. Like how fast you want to get this game to come out to people's hands and stuff, and that's pretty much it.
James said on Final Fantasy 16 on Steam they updated it and then it ran worse.
Yeah. That's
It
what
it probably wasn't ready, and Square Enix probably want to have the game to be out
Not like-
sooner. So
No, it had already come out. That's what I'm saying. Like it was already out, but then they did an update to the game itself. So they obviously tried to do some type of optimization, but it made the game run worse.
yeah. And that's like my biggest issue with that is, you know, on Steam Deck, I remember saying, if you guys remember saying it, I was saying it was pretty good. You know, you get those drop frames, but then it went from running pretty good with drop frames to basically not really playable at that point. And then of course with the ROG Ally, I've mentioned a couple times, it's just unplayable. Like in my ROG Ally video, if you watch that, it's I showed the scene literally where it shows a cutscene in Final Fantasy 16 and it just stutters. And then after that cutscene plays, the whole game just continuously stutters over and over. It just freezes, goes, freezes, goes. I'm just like, whatever. I'm not playing this game anymore.
well, it goes back to my original point saying that like Naoki never said that the PC version was going to be ready like this year or something like that. I'm pretty sure Square Enix were the ones that were trying to push that PC port out as soon as they can because these wanted to like reap most of the profit from it. I
Right.
mean, there were the same ones that were trying to accuse that both 16 and Rebirth lost in profit, which in reality they didn't really. It's just Square Enix expectations was way higher than it was before.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that again, it falls back to hey, let the developers take their time and actually optimizing these games. And with the patch that Fan mentioned beforehand, that was just a quick band-aid. They're trying they're trying their best to try to optimize it with given time frame Square Enix told them to have and shit, and it happens, bro. Like the thing is,
I don't think
yeah.
they can optimize it or any more than like they can keep trying and optimize it and optimize it and optimize it. Problem is there's too
It's just
many
a demanding
systems.
game.
Yeah, there's too many systems out there that they're trying to make one game to fit all. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to like configure so many different settings. So like this, you have to change this and this to make it work on these specific specs. This and this to make it work on this specific specs. Like even the PS5 is just unfortunately not powerful enough to run what they're trying to do on a Final Fantasy 16 at its peak. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna have to like pick and choose what they want.
Yeah.
And
I really wish
no
they'd
matter
release a
how
16
much
Pro
amount
patch.
of optimization is going to fix that.
I don't know.
But the only
like-
reason Nintendo can do what they do is because they're building the game to for the system that it can handle.
Yeah.
Where Sony and Square Enix and all them, they're like, all right, they're gonna try and get as much money as possible, so that's why they're doing PC ports in Sony. But problem is, there's too many configurations out there.
Yeah.
Like you can continue to optimize as much as you want, it's not gonna fix everything, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree to that to an extent, like because of there being a lot of PC components and different configurations, different combinations and stuff like that. Yeah, it is harder to do that. But I think where Square Enix issue is, and it seems to be a reoccurring issue, is especially their PC ports don't always seem to be the best. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake was pretty good because I didn't have an issue. At least on Steam Deck, it ran fine.
Yeah, same
But
same for me.
another game that wasn't that great was like Star Ocean. Shoot, I was just playing that. The Divine Force. That one, like I was reading some of the patch notes, and one of them was literally that they screwed up, and if you have an AMD CPU, it took forever for your shaders to cache, or and it's like it's weird. It's just I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't think they know how to kind of I don't know port I guess to the PC for lack of better words because I don't remember the Divine Force launch at the same time on PC as PlayStation 5? Did it come out? Yeah, it came out PS5 and Xbox Series X, right? At the same time?
I don't know. I can't correct you on that one.
Yeah,
No.
I can't remember. It's been a couple years, and I don't remember how their launch was. I don't know if it came later or if it came all at the same time. I can't remember.
I think they came at the same time.
Did they? Okay, so it's just maybe they don't know. I don't know just how to make PC games.
Well, and the thing is too, like there was plenty of other PC ports that came out this year. Like for example, Ghost of Tsushima when that came out, it ran pretty much good for the most part for most systems and
Yeah.
stuff. And you got to
But then you had the
remember
Last of Us
that sucker
situation.
punch.
Remember? Was it Last of Us Part 1 where everybody
Mhm.
was having issues with that game on PC? Remember that it was really bad that people were showing like, what was it?
Like
Randomly.
floating away and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was really really bad when it came
It-
to that. What's
it-
up,
it's
Figures
probably
Ryan? Welcome to the
it's
podcast.
honestly it's probably due to the management because I can also clap back and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
God of War Ragnarok came out like 2 months ago. Now that game was doing fine on PC too.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
it all depends on a team by team basis. But I do understand fans' point that yeah, it is harder to like configure for multiple systems, but at the same time, you need to they need to have like they need to know like what's feasible for them on
hmm
when they can actually optimize for most systems and consoles, so that way they can release it properly and get the returns on it and
Yeah,
stuff, and not just rush it out. You know.
yeah. No, definitely. I agree with that. But I guess while we're on the topic of Square Enix, we'll move on to our next topic, which is Dragon Quest III. And before I talk about Dragon Quest III, we were talking about Square Enix expectations on Final Fantasy 16 and 7 Rebirth being high. Do you guys think that their expectation on Dragon Quest 3 was pretty high? Or do you think it was actually lower?
Lower.
You'd assume lower.
Mm-hmm.
To be more direct, it will be they'll probably have high expectations for DQ3 in Japan, but outside of that, probably lower.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the sales numbers for DQ3 is. I guess we'll probably mention it next week whenever the sales numbers come out because I do want to know how many people purchase it because I've seen a lot of hype around it. A lot of people excited to play it because it looks gorgeous. Like streaming it, it feels like you're playing almost a different game. The first area, which is a cave you go into, that cave
Mhm.
looks nothing like what it looked like in like the mobile port or like the Switch port. It looks nothing like that and it's
In a
like
good or bad way.
in a good way.
Good way, really good way.
Yeah, like it's completely different because so the cave you go to is on the edge of like I don't want to say peninsula, but I guess you can say it's like a peninsula almost. Like you're at the edge by water, and in the like mobile port and switch port, when you go into the cave, it's just a cave. That's it.
Yeah.
Where on the HD2D, you go into that cave, and as you go deeper into the cave, you go outside and you can see like the edge of the water and it wraps around and there's like a river running and stuff like that. And it's just like it's gorgeous. It's way better than I would ever expect it to. They went above and beyond, I guess, what they had to do, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were telling them, hey, I need you to make this even better than what it looks, but that stuff just looks amazing. The towns look better. They've definitely grabbed the SNES version. And it's not just a 101 remake, it's the environments are just bigger overall. So there's more stuff happening in the environments. The environments have changed, they're definitely more detailed. And I think that's cool. Like I enjoy that. Even like the fighting areas, you go into like a desert area, you get this whole different outlook, and it just looks great. You go to a more mountain area, it changes to that, which is, it kind of did that in Dragon Quest 3, but it wasn't like, it was just plain, I guess, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah, it makes a lot of
Hmm.
sense. And the thing is, the biggest worry I have about this is that it's not the game itself; it's actually Square Enix, because
Yeah.
like I do see hype around the game. Don't get me wrong, but I'm thinking that I'm still seeing hype around the same Dragon Quest fans that been playing these games ever since they
Yeah.
started playing. I'm not
They're
seeing
not getting
really
new people,
any
you're saying?
I'm not seeing any new fans picking this game up, which that's what I'm worried about. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's going to be the same demographic that's still going to buy DQ no matter what.
Hmm.
And Square Enix is going to look at that and say, "Damn, we're not getting any new followers. This is below our expectations and stuff,"
Yeah.
and just cut the project from there. Which
Yeah.
I'll
to me,
I'll
that's a
buy it
bad
when it
move.
goes on sale.
Yeah, to me is a bad move, honestly, because the DQ3 HD remake is really good. And again, this is my first HD2D game and stuff and everything, right?
Yeah.
Because back then I used to be high for
Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler because of my own concept on what the game should be like, but it's not like that. So I kind of just push myself away from the game for a good bit until I finally have some time to play it.
Yeah.
Now, this game came out. Oopsie, damn. Square
man.
Enix disagree with my take here. As I was saying, damn, now I'm blurred out. Wonderful. But as I was saying, I've already played DQ3. I loved it. That's actually my favorite out of the first three and everything. So it's great that it's already out, already kicking ass. Everyone's loving it. It's great. It's overwhelmingly positive. Literally everybody's giving this game like a 9 out of 10 stars.
Mhm.
It's just the problem is that it's not reaching new audiences, and I think Square Enix is hoping to get more people into the series and stuff. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Real quick, figure drawing. We are actually going to talk about the Game Awards at the end of the podcast, so definitely stick around. We will discuss that later on.
Mhm.
But going with what you're saying, I do agree with that. I was hoping, because of Dragon Ball like Daima being out, right, and like Akira
Yeah.
Toriyama has been in the spotlight, for quite some time because of his passing, that more people might give it a try because they're like, oh, this is the well, I won't say the last thing because I don't think he did anything on Dragon Quest III HD2D.
No,
but
yeah, it was
he-
somebody else that did it. Actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, his original character design
Yes,
for
he's still
for
still
the
OG character
game,
design.
for the monsters and everything like that. So I was hoping to an extent, like, more, there might be more interest, and I guess it's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. I do feel though, like, going with my impressions of Dragon Quest III HD2D, it's a great game. Like, if you like classic RPGs, you have to get it. It is, the updated systems are definitely there. It's a lot better. It's a lot more modern. Some of the, like one of the things, for example, is definitely in OG Dragon Quest 3, you gotta grind a little bit before you even go into that cave, because it's pretty tough. But because they kind of updated it to be like most turn-based RPGs nowadays, where you level up, you get full HP and MP, then you really don't have to worry about grinding because you just gotta hold off until you go ahead and level up again. They do give you like this accessory which I've been using that does level you up faster, which is pretty nice. But outside of that, like, I feel like the quality of life and everything like that, they made it easier for people to get into. So I'm hoping more people give it a try. It's a beautiful game. It looks better than Octopath Traveler 2. So if you played
I
Octopath
agree.
Traveler 2, it looks a lot better. The environments are way more detailed. You can tell that they put a lot more love into this. I mean, maybe not a lot more love, but
I thought Octopath Traveler 2 is beautiful.
it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Octopath Traveler 2 is beautiful, and this is more
So
beautiful.
this is
than
even
that.
better, huh?
Yeah, and it's I don't want to say they put a lot more love. They how can I put it? I think they wanted to represent probably what Yuji Horí's original intentions were back on the SNES.
Well, it has
or
a
the NES
provenance
of this.
behind it.
Yeah,
Like, it's Dragon Quest. Like, Octopath Traveler 2 is kind of like its own thing where they defined what it was, and that is what it is, whereas this is considered like a classic, timeless, important RPG, so they want to have it in the best representation possible worldwide, so they're really going to put a lot of love into it. So I think
Yeah.
that's cool that they did that.
yeah. It, and just everything about the game is
Because Dragon Quest
good.
fans would be mad.
Yeah,
They didn't.
Well, yeah, I agree. But going back to that, I was expecting not for it to be how it looks, and I'm excited to go into a lot of the newer areas, not newer areas, but the later areas, and see how they've been reimagined and redesigned. Because it's kind of cool. Like, I guess the closest I can think of is probably like the difference between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Like how they added a lot more detail, but it's more in a 2D plane because it's HD 2D, so it's not the same. But the amount of detail they added is it's amazing. It's really good. Battle system being updated, they added abilities. Abilities weren't in the original game. You had like spells and stuff like that, but they added both abilities and spells, so there are actually new abilities you can get in the game, which is pretty cool. And of course, new spells. They kind of modernize it to kind of put what already Dragon Quest has from 1 through 11 and put that into this game. And so far, I have yet to come into contact with any of the new story bits, the new story changes. I will say my one criticism about it, and maybe it's a dumb criticism, is some of the main story scenes were not fully voice acted, which was kind of weird. Like there's voice acted scenes, but then like I was hoping for more, and there's not that many. I don't know why.
They did that
Oh,
kind of
really?
in 16, where like they had were like some NPC dialogue, like they'd say like the first 3 words of a sentence, and
Yeah,
then they would like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of
yeah,
reminds me of that.
yeah. Like Fire Emblem was like like what's his name called in Fire Emblem Engage? Shoot, Alir, or no, what's his title? Divine Dragon. Like they were like the Divine Dragon or whatever. Like they'll say the first 3 words and then you have to read the rest of the text, similar to that. Yeah, and they kind of have stuff like that. It's I had to go back into my mind past. There's a lot of things on my mind, but I highly recommend Dragon Quest III HD2D. Fan, did you pick it up yet? Because I know Brian just said he hasn't.
No, I mean I get paid shortly here too, so that's in like a few days. So I'm
Mhm.
just waiting.
Yeah, it's on sale on Green Man Gaming, and there is a link in the description. So if you do want to get it on PC at least and want to support the channel, you can use that link. I think it's like $48, $47, something like that on Green Man Gaming. So I think it's well worth it, especially at that price point. It's well worth it. Runs great under ROG Ally X. I assume it's going to run just as good on the Steam Deck. Another weird note is it caps out on 60 on PC. You can't go higher than 60 FPS on PC, which is weird. I don't know why, but I mean, it's an RPG. It's not like you need more than that, but it does cap out at 60. So for anybody that wants to get it and it has like a 240 hertz monitor and think you're gonna get that, you're not gonna get that on this game.
Unless they got lots of scaling, they can use the frame generation feature on that.
Mhm.
Definitely on the Steam Deck. If it's on Linux, yeah, you got to
Mhm.
use Windows for that, if anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wonder if the ROG Ally X, if I can do frame generation on that and get higher than 60. I would assume so,
You
right?
can. You
That's just
can,
how
yeah,
frame
yeah.
generation
As
works.
long as it has the Windows operating system, then you're fine.
Mm.
That's the only thing. That's the only reason why the Steam Deck can't use lossless scaling, because it's on Linux. So
To mess around with that tonight and see how that goes.
yep.
But yeah, get Dragon Quest III HD2D. And I'm playing this, has me even more excited for Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 HD2D. I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with 1. If they're gonna make it a 1-to-1 remake or if they're gonna change it up, because 1 it's kind of interesting because you only play as one character, but it's a turn-based RPG. And I feel people would get angry if they changed that to, let's say, an action RPG because of the way the game is. So I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do with that, or if they'll add party members to that game, or and change that around. It'll be interesting. Very interesting to see what they go there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about a weird campaign that's going on right now. Very weird because apparently this is an Xbox. And I guess, would you consider this an Xbox? Maybe. I mean, this has Xbox games on it, so I guess this is an Xbox.
What's this
In
campaign
a way, I
that's
guess.
happening?
So Xbox has came out with a campaign that basically says everything is an Xbox, from your PC to an ROG Ally to a refrigerator to a dog. No, they said a dog is not an Xbox, but it is a weird campaign, and it kind of it has people talking, right? Which is probably what they want to have, is people talking about Xbox. But B, kind of also shows me that they don't care as much about Xbox anymore, and it's more about the service now. Like it's about Game Pass and game streaming and stuff like that. And they've kind of given up from their console, and now they're just trying to market everything as an Xbox. What do you guys think about this campaign? How do you feel about it when you first saw it, if you first saw it, or if you haven't seen it at all?
I
think
never
it's
seen
funny.
it. Yeah, I never seen it. But like, what's the premise of the campaign to begin with? Like,
Google
so
it.
it's kind of like what James is saying. Like Xbox is basically Microsoft is changing the term of Xbox as in Xbox is no longer just a console, right?
Okay.
Because their other stuff is like they show a picture of a laptop and it says this is an Xbox for your lap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have a phone saying this is an Xbox that makes calls.
Yeah.
So they're redefining the term of what an Xbox is. That it's
Yeah,
no longer just their home console. It's basically pretty much almost anything that can play Xbox games.
That's not a very good strategy at all. That's
I think
pretty dumb.
it's funny. I mean, I don't think it's going to do well for them, but I think it's kind of funny.
Definitely comical, but yeah, that's something that they shouldn't be saying at all. They're kind of losing their meaning on what an Xbox truly was back then, and that's upsetting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because with that same logic, I guess my PC is a PlayStation since it's able to play PlayStation games on it, or like if you want to spin that, I guess that's weird. I don't know why they're trying to go along with this. I don't know what their end goal is. I mean, like James said earlier, I guess to talk about them, I guess, but at the same time, it's not boding well for them. It's not enticing me to, further go into their service. The only service I'm using is practically their Windows operating system, which I only pay pennies for, like $10 or something like that. So,
and those eventually at some point it's going to be like Windows is going to become Xbox.
Yeah,
kind of is already in a way. I mean, I think that this is just a very like the very embodiment of what Microsoft is trying to sell an Xbox as. They're not interested in the console market anymore. They're just not. I mean, it's all about Game Pass. So I think that this new marketing thing is very much what they're trying to say. This is what they're trying to sell. This is the point they're trying to make to all these people that they hear Xbox, they think of 2004, they think of 2001 of the or 2006, 2001 Xbox 360. You buy the console, it sits by your TV, and that's it. Where in reality, it's more so of a service now than it is a console because you can play it on Game Pass on your phone. You can other things that aren't Xbox, quote unquote, are Xbox. So for the right audience, I think that it's important because I feel like if you told a bunch of people that aren't like us, that aren't gamers, that like, hey, you can play your Xbox on your phone. Did you know that? Like, I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. They don't understand that, and so I think it's good for what they're trying to do. It's not for us, right? Like, it's not for people like us that are hardcore gamers that are buying the consoles that are going to be playing these games on innate hardware. This is for the folks that are just kind of on the outskirts of the technology that just maybe play Call of Duty and don't know all the options that are available to them. I think it comes across as a little bit desperate if you ask me, because it's like kind of edgy. Like, it seems like they're trying to find a way to be edgy and like to find a way for people to talk about Xbox because nobody cares anymore.
It's like advertising
so
from the 2000s.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it does come across as a little desperate, but at the same time, like, they kind of need it because they need to get more people into Game Pass. So I think it's fine. I just hope that they continue to focus on things that differentiate them from PlayStation, which, considering almost all their games are going to PlayStation, that list is running dry very shortly.
Yeah. I was on the PlayStation YouTube channel because it was funny. A lot of my YouTube consumption is on my TV, which I can see why YouTube has been trying to upgrade the TV experience. But usually what I'll do, if I'm like eating breakfast or something, I'll scan through like Nintendo's YouTube channel, Xbox, and PlayStation, see new game trailers or any new announcements that might have come out. And on PlayStation, they had a trailer for Indiana Jones on there. I'm like, oh, okay, look, it's already started. It was just weird seeing that, but it's there, and that is a Xbox owned studio doing that. Now Xbox owned studio doing that. But the other weird thing that there was about this campaign is it came out right after an interview with Phil Spencer came out.
Oh, I remember that interview.
Yeah, where he was saying that there's a handheld, an Xbox handheld in the works. And it kind of confirms that, even though I feel like he confirmed it before and we talked about it before, But anyways, he said it again, and I don't know, like you go and say there's an Xbox handheld, but then you do a ad campaign basically saying you don't need this Xbox handheld to play Xbox games. What does that like tell people? Am I the only one that feels that way, or am I
It's
looking into it a different way?
it's more confusing when the Wii U came out because people thought the Wii U wasn't an add-on to the Wii.
Yeah,
You know, it's practically worse than this.
yeah,
So
and not only that, like I feel like your average like gamer or consumer is probably going to be not gamer, but your average consumer is going to be like, what do you mean my phone's an Xbox? What do you mean,
yeah,
this device is an Xbox? They might not even understand.
yeah,
Like for me, the only way I would get this Xbox handheld is if I could play Lost Odyssey natively on there. Like that's it. Like if you give me that much, and Blue Dragon and Infinite on Discovery, if you give me that much, I would get it just so I can play it natively that way versus having to emulate it on my ROG Ally, which works good. Works better than the Steam Deck. That
Your standards are out of this world, James. It's like
I
the most
know.
like individual thing that you and like one other person on
Selfish.
the face of this planet would demand, and you're like, Microsoft's gonna cave to my demands, damn it, or I'm not buying this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how I am. It's like you give me this one thing. Hey, I feel like that's easy to be pleased, right? You just put Lost Odyssey, make it
yeah.
available. That's
Sure.
Yeah,
pretty easy. I'm
I
not asking for much, right? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're asking one thing, and they're not
I mean,
fulfilling that
they,
one thing. So
they should
yeah,
just
it makes sense.
remake the game.
Or remaster it.
That'd be
Or
better.
Yeah.
remaster. Yeah.
But I think they talked about it, and I think something that like Sakaguchi doesn't want to do that. He's
I mean,
like,
it doesn't
no,
have to
it's
be
been
him.
done.
That's what I'm
That,
saying. Like,
that's
there's
true.
companies, there's studios out there that will remaster a game for you,
That's true.
right? So it doesn't have to be him.
Yeah,
I mean, if anything, maybe he can just be like, not like a director, but like a consultant, right?
hmm
He doesn't
Yeah,
have to like put too much effort into it. He can just be there to like give pointers or notes when they hit a wall.
yeah, yeah. I wonder what it is because I feel like I don't know. Microsoft probably would have done that already if they could have.
I mean,
Like maybe
they're
there's some
buying
type
all
of
these
weird.
studios, man, like
Yeah,
all over the place. Who knows? Maybe one of those studios will like step up and like, or like you, like, oh, I love Lost Odyssey, like, give us the chance to remake it, remaster it.
do it. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
I
Come on.
mean, the freaking team that did Metroid Prime remaster, like, they did.
Wasn't it just Retro
ma-
Studios that did it?
I know, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's their niche, you know, like that's what they do.
No, well,
Right?
no. Retro Studios doesn't do that. They make games.
No, I mean, yeah, no. What I mean is like they didn't make They didn't make Prime originally. They didn't make the original Metro game, right? So
Yeah,
they weren't part
no,
of
they
the original studio. They made Prime originally. I thought they didn't do that.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
did. Yeah,
Oh, then
Retro
never
Studios
mind.
did that. Yeah,
Okay.
they did.
I thought it was just
Prime.
another team that just like came in and like, you know, we'll
Well,
remaster it for you.
The majority of the
They did 2
original
and
team is
3
not
in
there.
1.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The only difference is the majority of the original team is not there anymore. So that's why
Okay.
there were articles saying it's almost a brand new team, but it's still Retro Studios. And the last games that they actually did was like Donkey Kong, Country Returns, and Tropical Freeze. So yeah, but no, you're thinking like Blue, was it Blue Point, right? Who did Demon
That's
Souls?
probably who I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blue Point, who's done a lot of PlayStation
Demon
stuff.
Souls.
Like remasters. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Demon
But
Souls.
yeah,
they
there's
did,
studios out there
Shadow of
that
Colossus,
like
stuff like that.
that's what they do. They just remaster a game for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
No, Retro's
not?
an original studio. They did the 2 Donkey Kong games for Wii. Donkey Kong Country Returns for Wii, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for Wii U, and they're probably behind. I mean, I guess I don't know, but I would assume they're behind bringing Donkey Kong Country Returns back to Switch, or maybe that's just some other porting place doing it. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Nintendo
I mean, I
doesn't
didn't
need
have a
the
Wii U until recently,
developers
so
anymore.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Microsoft's buying all these studios. Like one of them could, you know, that has gaming chops, could man up and do it just for the heck of it.
Real quick, a little bit off topic. Are you guys getting on YouTube showing a chat disconnected thing?
Oh yeah,
Okay, you're seeing it too. All right.
Yeah.
It must be a YouTube issue because like I'm seeing it constantly. So I'm like, I don't know if people are typing in and it's coming through or what, but it keeps saying chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you, and then it goes back to successfully connected.
yeah. I think it's a YouTube thing because it's on both of your streams.
The streams. Okay, so yeah, hopefully it's YouTube and not the way the stream is set up. I'll have to look into that later on.
Well,
But
you chatters on YouTube, if that's an issue, jump over to Twitch.
yeah, Twitch seems fine right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Microsoft made an Xbox handheld, would you guys pick it up or no?
No.
Probably.
Probably. See, I think Brian knows, right? Probably if it has Lost Odyssey, right?
That's the only reason I get it is as Lost Odyssey.
See, there we go. Comes packaged in with Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back. If they said that it played Lost Odyssey, I would just not buy it just to spite you. I would say I don't want it.
The problem is like current Windows handhelds are like decent enough to where there's not a huge incentive for me to buy.
Yeah, but I bet it'd be a lot more pricey though. Like if this is like, what if this is like the Xbox equivalent of the PlayStation Portal or something? Like I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know
if they
about
were to get it
PlayStation
for like
Portal, but if you did like an Xbox at like $300, like a portable,
like
Xbox
if they got rid of the Series S, like that's just gone. Then it's portable Xbox and then Series X.
So I was gonna say that if, let's say it was $300, but it's a portable Xbox Series S, right? And you can also dock it to a TV. I think I would buy that. $300, maybe 400.
How much is the Series S right now?
$300.
Yeah,
so it has to be more expensive than that. It's smaller. I bet it'd be at least $354, and then you get to the point where you want.
Well, I mean, that's if they just get rid of it and basically make it to where your portable Xbox is a Series S that you could dock. Then that's just one less SKU they would have to manufacture.
Yeah. Well, between that, maybe the components of the Series S are probably already like cheaper itself. You just got to add a display, right?
Yeah, they could shrink it down more.
Yep. I think that would help out. And then, yeah, and then, you know, even if they sell it at a loss, you would hope between Game Pass and people buying games on it, they can make that money back.
Oh yeah, like it comes with 3 months of Game Pass for free.
I honestly
just like my Ally X.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and and they can keep their Ally X as the Xbox Series X of, you know, of things. But like honestly, if Microsoft were to make a good handheld, decently price it, have decent specs too, where it's like at least Series S level, I feel like they can almost make a comeback to an extent. Because even PlayStation users might even pick it up. Like people who are only PlayStation, they might even pick it up for a try because it's a handheld, and that would definitely probably get PlayStation themselves to actually make a real portable console. But you know, that's my opinion when it comes to that. Because I would get rid of my PS5 and get a PS5 mini or portable or whatever you want to call it. Even if it's like PS4 Pro level power, I would definitely get that. Am I the only one here that
I find it interesting that they said that it's years away. It's like, dude, is Xbox going to be around years away from now? That's really a good question.
That's another good question, yeah. Because to me, Xbox is dead already. Right? It's just. Yeah, I sold my Series X. You sold yours, Bryant. Ash.
No, I have my Series X.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought you sold. Oh, that's right. You got the.
The cosmic one.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So I'm the only one that bought an Xbox and sold it. And then
I still have an Xbox One and a 360, but I haven't turned it on in like years.
Yeah. And then I know Ash doesn't care for Xbox either.
I mean, my older brother had an Xbox, so I would just use his back then, and never owned it. So,
or Microsoft. That means in our lifetime, two major console manufacturers would have stopped. Microsoft and Sega. I mean, there's the other guys, right? There's, you know, TurboGrafx 16, which was, I think, Hudson, but that doesn't count because they weren't major. Most people, you ask them, what, you know, have you ever heard of the TurboGrafx 16? They're going to say no. They don't even know what that was. But a lot of people, I feel you say Sega Genesis or Sega Dreamcast, they know what that was. Same thing with Xbox. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our last topic of the day, and that is the Game Awards. This is interesting. We're not. Next week we're also going to talk about the Game Awards again, right? Because the nominees are coming out on Monday, so we will definitely talk about the nominees. And as always, which has been a tradition for the last 2 years now that we've done the podcast, we will go ahead and give our pick on who's winning and who we want to win and who's winning. Because
who won last year again?
Well, Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
No.
No.
Who of us won? I forget.
Who was it?
Oh, between us, I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Who? Me? Right?
It was me.
No, it was me. I'm pretty sure it was me.
No, it was me. Look it up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna have to, change some things.
I'll win again. It's okay, James.
But we'll like it's been tradition for 2 years. We'll go ahead and go through that. Fan, of course, will be our
Scorekeeper.
scorekeeper here, and remember our choices and stuff like that. But what I wanted to mention today about the Game Awards is they've kind of updated what qualifies to be in this, and I want to know what everybody else thinks about this, because now, according to them, remasters and remakes, which we know were already allowed in there, but now DLC can be included, which everybody is already thinking it's because of the Elden Ring DLC. What do you guys think about adding DLC for like Game of the Year? Do you think that's fair?
My
Do you think
rage,
Nope.
when I read that about the DLC into Game of the Year contention and how they're doing it for potentially, you'd think they're doing it for Elden Ring. The rage that I felt in my chest was undescribable.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think Elden Ring is a bad game. It's not. It's a great game. It's not really for me, but I respect it and everything that it does. But it's just there's so much good stuff that came out this year. Elden Ring had its time in the sun. It just did. It was everybody talked about the game 2 years ago when it swept everything.
It's slap in the face to every game that came out in 2024.
Yeah. And it's like it's almost like the bro game at this point, where it's like we're just gonna give it all the awards because like it's just this super popular like game that it's just like there's so many better games. Like Stellar Blade belongs. It's not gonna be in the Game of the Year award contention, unfortunately, but Stellar Blade belongs up there. Rebirth belongs up there. I would even say like even though Black Myth Wukong, like I think it's good or whatever, but like that game I feel is the Elden Ring of 2024, not in its quality, but just kind of like the what do you call it? The like how popular it was for no, like what am I talking about? Like the like how much impact it had.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I said hype.
Yeah, the hype. Yeah, like there was so much hype for that game. Yeah, absolutely. And then it came out and it was like so popular. And maybe that's not what a Game of the Year should be about, but I don't think it should be a DLC either. Like it's still the same game. Like if you want to do like a DLC category, and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is nominated for that, even though the game came out 2 years ago, I'll give that to you because Shadow of the Erdtree I'm sure has enough new content that justifies it. But like, and also two DLCs, like they're generally not going to come out in the same year. Generally, you'd assume. So I give that to you. That's fine. But there's so much quality that came out this year, and for a game from 2 years ago just to suck it all up, like that's not cool. And I'll be really angry if they put that up there along with the likes of Rebirth, and all those other games that I said.
Yeah, I agree. You got any thoughts on that, Ash?
They could have just made it simpler and be like, oh, this is DLC of the year, not Game of the Year. Just make it simple, make it easy. They're making this over complicated for no damn reason. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Gene Park had tweeted out, which I agree with him, is like, if Elden Ring can be considered in a category, then you need to go back and fix last year and put Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed on there, because that was a great DLC. A lot of people hyped it up, and then, like Elden Ring itself, it felt just like another game on its own. And Xenoblade Chronicles DLC is like that. Yeah, go ahead.
What if they announced Elden Ring DLC 10 years from now? It's gonna be nominated for Game of the Year. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some backdoor deals going on with freaking Keeley.
Some backdoor shady deals. I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't trust Keeley anymore. Which I agree. Like after this, it does seem weird, because I love Kojima as much as the next guy, but like, it's always like a Kojima thing. Like he's probably gonna show Death Stranding 2 and probably hype something else. He's gonna give Kojima like another 30 minutes to talk. He probably wants Miyazaki on his side for whatever reason. So the next From Software game that comes out, or is it Miyazaki? Yeah, Miyazaki's the guy name, right? Or am I confusing him? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like for the next From Software game to be revealed by him, so that nobody else can do it. And
they're just gonna re-reveal Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's be honest.
It's all an eagle trip, friend. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now. Listen. I'd rather have Wilds win this year than Elden Ring. Listen, I love Elden Ring. It's one of my favorite games ever. But the thing is, it already won Game of the Year in its
At
own
its
year.
place.
Yeah, at its place.
Yep.
And I'd rather have Wilds win.
Well, Wilds can. It's not going to be out this year, but
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
I thought-
making
I
a
thought
joke because we.
Hey, well,
I thought it was coming out this year.
We should have
No, it's next year.
what should be in there should be the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. That should be Game of the Year. You see, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
Because the beta came out.
Did-
Like,
And I'll
Did
put my
the,
head on the desk again.
Did the oh god, what's the game? What am I thinking of? Sea of Stars. Did that DLC come out yet?
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So-
not the big DLC yet. It was just the minor update that has
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
co-op and stuff. It's not the I think I forget what it's called, but it's not
Yeah,
the
I
big
know.
DLC yet.
Yeah, the one where they're adding like a whole new like freaking
Story
world
and
or
stuff like
stage
that,
or
yeah.
story to it. That's what I was wondering.
What
Because if they're gonna
DLCs
do
have
that,
come
then
out
they
this
might
year?
as well comb all of 2024 and look through all the
Yeah,
DLCs.
it's called Throes of the Watchmaker.
Yeah.
And that's not coming out till next spring. But they did
Okay.
release another update like a week ago that has like co-op stuff, a new prologue, and just some like other quality of life things. But the big expansion isn't coming till next spring, which I will be all over because I love Sea of Stars.
Did the Alan Wake DLC came out this year?
Yeah.
See, like now that
Mhm.
can be part of the freaking
Game of the year.
Game of the year. Like,
What about
Freaking-
did the Nier Automata DLC for Stellar Blade come out already, or
No, that comes out
No.
like let me see when that comes out. Hang on.
Yeah, that comes out next year, right?
No, it comes out in like a week or two. Stellar Blade DLC comes out on the 20th. So it comes out 3 days.
Well, that's the other contender.
I'll be all over that.
'cause they just had the Destiny 2 DLC like this year. Like I
Beyond
think
Light.
I don't know if it's called Beyond Light, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Isn't it
like
Beyond
that
Light?
could be,
whatever.
and
it is.
then
I haven't played
whatever
Destiny
it's
2.
called. yeah.
Well, James, let me ask you this. So when you saw the news, did they like literally explicitly say that hey, if any game came out with DLC this year, then it gets thrown back in as a nominee as a
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Yeah, they had a
Yeah,
press
something like
release
that.
about it.
yep. So let me go to exactly what they
and did they also say we'll explain more about it later, or did they just straight us and say hey, this is what's going to happen and that's it?
They put it out there, I think, to preempt the crap that's going to come their way when
backlash.
Shadow of the Erd Tree is
Yeah.
put up. Yep.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know,
Like
They
everyone
put it-
knows it's a cash grab. Like
I was
everyone
hoping
can
they
see it.
will. I was hoping they will add more clarification on what they were trying to say because I was thinking in my head.
I think
maybe
they were
they're
clear
trying
enough.
to confuse people.
No, they're gonna be as vague as possible.
Yeah, so it
Because-
wasn't even
Yeah.
dumb that posted it. It was people that found it. So it says, there's a new in the FAQ. This was there, and people went to the Wayback Machine and realized that was never there before. They just added this 2 days ago, because they went as far back as 2 days, and that was not there. So they added this 2 days ago, and the FAQ says like, are DLCs, expansion packs, and remakes/remasters eligible? The Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical work each year, irrespective of the format of that content's release. Expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in all categories if the jury deems the new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination. Factors such as the newness of the content and its price/value should be taken into consideration. So,
See, a DLC is not a game.
yeah, I mean,
It's not a game on its own.
yeah,
It's an add-on to a game that has already existed.
yeah.
Or for you to play the DLC, you need the base game. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't think DLC should be considered, because then they're saying that basically they can pick and choose what DLC they can consider as Game of the Year, right? You know, but like, I just think it's weird. Like, what if people were super hyped for Terry of Street Fighter 6? Does he count as Game of the Year because he's a character that people were hyped for? Like,
And it says seasons. So that means like battle passes, and
Yeah.
seasons, and whatnot could also be counted. That's
that's
just so dumb. Just
this Fortnite
make it
chapter
make it
1?
as its own separate part, own separate category.
Yeah.
Because it's not a game.
Yeah,
Listen,
on its own.
guys, I have a gut feeling that Elden Ring might win.
Oh, yeah.
might win
Duh.
Game of the Year
Yes, I-
again
and-
this
I'll be,
year.
I'll be full of
and
rage.
if
It'll
you
make
go through
my
the paper
Clive
trail,
sub look
you're-
like
you're-
nothing.
Like, because I'm.
You're
done.
gonna see
It's
cash
gonna happen.
bags on Keely's property that says Elden Ring.
I'm telling you
On
right
it.
now, it's gonna.
It'll say
happen.
it'll say from software.
Yeah, let's just say from software.
Yeah, it'll be from
Oh, oh.
software. And people are like, oh, who's software?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, and I agree. I think a lot of people are definitely thinking that it's going to be, you know,
We'll
the
find
Elden
out
Ring
tomorrow.
DLC.
Does it come out tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll find out who the nominees are,
It's
and
gonna
Yeah.
suck.
yeah, because then they would have to, because there's only 5, right? 5 games they can be nominated. So if Elden Ring takes up that spot, I don't know. It just shouldn't, because if I could think of like a top 5 that came out this year right now, even if I haven't played it, I would probably say like Rebirth will be on there, right? Probably Stellar Blade, right? Stellar Blade.
It's not going to be there, but I agree.
Well, yeah. Black Man Fukong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else.
Do you think there's going to be Zelda representation? You think Echoes of Wisdom will be up there?
Not in that. I don't think in the Game of the Year category. Maybe for like best
Yeah.
adventure game or something. But,
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else.
Why can't I think of what came out this year all of a sudden?
I got to go through the list because there's like
yeah.
so
I'm
much.
going to right now.
I mean,
Like, I would like
Silent Hill
a,
2 might be able to like,
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh, I totally would love Silent Hill 2 to be up there.
Okay, so
because that's a remake and a remaster.
Yeah, but it's like different enough where
It's its own thing.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a
Resident
one-for-one.
Evil
metaphor,
was.
metaphor.
Oh, yeah, metaphor. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
metaphor.
Yep.
Yeah, they 1,000,000% deserve it.
those are 5 games. You know, if you
Yeah.
add in, let's say, Like a Dragon, right, Infinite Wealth. I don't think that would.
I think
be up
Astrobot
there, but
would be there before that.
Yeah, Astrobot is a good.
That might win like best platformer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope it does. It deserves it.
But yeah, there's a bunch of games that I feel like should deserve the spotlight rather than Elden Ring DLC.
You know what?
Right.
You know what is realized? Do you know that section of the Game Awards where they have they have like an orchestra or whatever, they play a
Mhm.
whole bunch of music from different games.
Yeah,
and
it's like a
stuff?
medley. Yeah.
Yeah, a melody and shit. Bro, I can't wait for them to do Metaphor, bro. I know it's not confirmed yet, but I know
it's
they're gonna
epic.
do Metaphor. It's
It's
gonna be-
epic.
ooh, boy.
All the
gotta-
singers and stuff.
Just a random thought. I know it's gonna be in there, so just
I still got to pick it up. Yeah,
I'm in the middle of it right now. So are we gonna transition to what we've been playing?
yeah. We can go ahead and trans. Oh well, let's. Any last thoughts on this before we get into that? Any last thoughts?
No, we
It's-
gave Keely
We'll have
enough
lots
of
of
our time.
thoughts next Sunday.
it's gonna be interesting discussion when it comes through.
Yeah,
Next
it's-
Sunday, baby. It'll be a very good podcast.
Yeah, we will discuss this and see how.
Because that's how I
angry
came
we
in
are.
last year. I remember we came in talking about the Game Awards. That was my first episode. So it's
Yeah,
kind of cool how it's
that's
all
true.
kind of come full circle.
Are you gonna be able to join us this time to watch it live, or because last time I remember? you
Yeah,
couldn't.
no impromptu trips to Florida this time. That's not
Yeah.
happening. So it
So-
should be good.
Awesome, cool. All right.
Wait, what day is it? What day is the Game Awards? Hang
It's
on,
usually on a
I should set it
Friday.
up.
December 12th.
Isn't that a
Okay,
Friday?
I'll need to
December
take
12th.
off. Wait, let me look. December 12th.
That's a Thursday.
Okay, I'll have to work,
Thursday.
so I'll have to find a way to take off. So I'll figure that out. Don't worry, guys.
Do it.
What you should do is work earlier or later some of those other days, so then you can
Work
leave
like a
early on
half or work.
Thursday.
I can't do that, but I could work a half day that day or something.
There you go.
Yep.
Make up
Work.
those hours. You know, that's
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
The work podcast balance. Very difficult. All right, let's go ahead and start talking about what we've been playing. Brian, since you seem pretty excited to talk about what you've been playing, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I finally got into Metaphor ReFantasio like fully, completely. I've been playing that the last couple. Like today, I played it all day. Yesterday, I played a little bit, and last week I really got into it. And I finished the first boss, like the first like main boss. Like there's like some prologue stuff and some mini bosses that you face and stuff. But I finally went through the first dungeon where you have a time limit, kind of like you do in Persona, where you have to change somebody's heart by June 15th or whatever. I had one of those moments in Metaphor, so I'm at like my first real dungeon and finished the boss. It's so interesting how Metaphor is so much like a Persona game and so not like a Persona game. Like for example, you do build up relationships like you do in Persona, like that's a big thing. You also build up your attributes, like your what is it? Like there's wisdom and tolerance and like the social, not social links, the what do you call them in Persona? The attributes, I don't know, but like in Persona, it's knowledge and charm and all that, and there's something similar in this. But what's really interesting is that every character can play any role. So it's not like in Persona how you're playing as I forget what his name is, the artist guy in Persona 5. Is it Yosuke? No, it's not Yosuke. Yusuke? I think it's Yusuke because Yosuke is in 4, I think. So Yusuke.
Yeah, in 4, yeah.
So Yusuke, he's like the ice type guy. Like he is like ice type attacks, if I remember correctly. And then like it's like they all have like their element in Persona 5, and Persona 4 is similar. And then you as the main character, you can shift between multiple personas and you can fill the gaps where you need to, right? In Metaphor, every character can gain access to any role. So, for example, one of the first characters you bring in is Stroll or Falkenberg, and when she comes in, she's a warrior, I think, or a knight, one of the two. And once you level up enough and you're like in this place where you learn new roles, she can become a mage too. She can learn the mage role. And then same thing with like Stroll, like he's like a knight or a warrior or something like that. And then he can learn the healer role. And you can have any character do any role. And so it kind of gets to the point where nobody's specialized. And I'm sure there's a Final Fantasy game that probably has a similar battle system to that, where any character can be anything.
11?
Original 12.
Original
12, and like it was 4 or 5 like that too, maybe,
5
or something.
Yeah, you can be any
5?
class you want. Yeah, and 3.
Yeah, and you can just change them out. You can change them out as much as you want. So it's interesting because like I had this fight where it was a bounty fight that I just finished, and in Persona it could be kind of challenging. Like and the main problem with this guy was his weakness was ice, and he was resistant to fire, but his weakness was ice. So in like a Persona game, you'd have your one ice character, and then hopefully your main character could have switched to like an ice-based persona, and then your third character could be like a healer or maybe do some physical damage or whatever. So what I did in this situation was I just changed them all to mage, and I leveled them all up to the point where they all had ice spells, and I just hammered this dude with ice like throughout the entire fight. And so it feels a little imbalanced that you can just blitz them and just destroy them by following that kind of strategy, because you can't really do that in Persona. But I will say, on the other hand, this game is a lot harder than Persona. Like when I get hit by that enemy, he knocks me down 3/4 of my health in like one shot. So you can't be all offensive like that. So I guess all I'm trying to say is that it's interesting how different it is battle system wise, and in a couple other ways too, because it's not modern, it's medieval, compared to Persona, where it's a lot more. In some ways, Persona is a lot more varied of the ways you can approach a situation, but in other ways, it's kind of strict because you're the only character that can change personas. Whereas in Metaphor, everybody can be anything, and there's variability in the different classes you can be. But yeah, it's very different. But it's finally got its hooks in me, and I'm gonna enjoy playing it and getting through it. But it is more difficult, and the systems are very similar to Persona. But I am very much enjoying it.
Yeah.
I wanted to comment a couple of things you said earlier about the game. So
Are you playing it?
Oh no. But
Okay.
I did play.
I'm still playing the demo.
I did complete the prologue demo. Loved everything about it, mainly because I play both the Shin Megami Tensei franchise and the Persona franchise, and I can tell you this much: the Metaphor Fantasio is pretty much like an amalgamation of everything that they did over time and stuff. So there's some certain elements in Shin Megami Tensei that you probably didn't realize, and there was also certain elements in Persona as well. And I feel like when it comes to how they shift the vibe of the game, I feel like it's more oriented towards the Shin Megami Tensei side of things compared to Persona. Of course, there's a lot of Persona-like things within the game, but I feel like when it comes to the core gameplay and mechanics of it, I feel like it's more geared towards the Shin Megami Tensei way. A good example is that they reintroduce the value called mag. I'm pretty sure you've seen that before when you were
that's how you unlock other archetypes.
Mag was originally introduced back in Shin Megami Tensei as like a currency for you to actually traverse throughout the demon realm and stuff. And when you run out of that, you pretty much lose HP and MP over time. So I find it interesting how they reintroduced that into
Put that name back in.
Yeah, and it was great. And then the other thing too is how overall dark it is compared to other Persona games as well, because Shin Megami Tensei kind of like pushes more towards more of the dark vibes when it comes to who should you side with, and you're in this demon apocalypse and everything, how characters act and everything like that. So I feel like you kind of get those similar vibes in past games. And you got to remember too is that 3 directors from Persona 3, 4, and 5 together collaborating on this game, and specifically most of the Shin Megami Tensei stuff that I mentioned earlier comes from the Persona 3 director, because he was the one that directed Nocturne, and then also the 2 other spin-off games called Digital Devil Saga.
Always wanted to play those.
Yeah, I think you will like Digital Devil Saga a lot more compared to the other ones, because it kind of reminds you of Persona, but actually adds like a nice early 2000s / late 90s vibe to the games, and which I really love.
It has some like Evangelion feel to it a little bit, like some
almost,
stuff like philosophy and religion and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's great. And on top of that too, it also has those same mechanics where everybody can have a different role within the party, which that's also in Digital Devil Saga as well. So a lot of things that they definitely played in the past, they pretty much just try to push all those mechanics all together into this one game, which they're melding quite well, in my personal opinion. So
yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's just I just didn't have time to play it, which I guess we can transition to me. I've been trying to beat Elden Ring all this weekend, which I did complete Elden Ring. Thank God for that. Now it's more of the dilemma: should I keep playing, try to get all the achievements? Because the only achievement I have left now is to get all the legendary weapons, which I only have one left for me to find, and I know with my brain on how to get to that weapon as fast as I can. Now, the thing is, once I complete that, since I'm not rusty with the game, should I just go straight into Shadow of the Erdtree and get out of the way, or go back to my other backlog games like Dragon Quest XI or Metaphor and Fantasio or Remaking Saga 2, The Revenge of the Seventh? By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys play Remaking Saga 2. It's actually really good game. I'm telling you right now. It's I promise. Play the demo.
Yeah, I'll get it when it goes on sale.
Play the demo, man. Come on. Trust me, it will change your mind. All right.
No, like I just don't like having demos in my purchase history. That really annoys the crap out of me. I'm gonna buy it for sure. Like it's not a question. Yeah, I'm OCD with crap.
I understand what you mean, but like at least play the demo first to see,
because then you can remove it from your library.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, make sure you like the game first before you buy it, right? So that way you're
I'll probably just buy it anyways because I have all the Saga games already. I'll just whatever. It's fine.
That's fair. Okay. But I've been playing Elden Ring and stuff. Still love the game a ton. Doesn't deserve to win Game of the Year, honestly. And then other than that, I've been rewatching actually Dragon Ball: The Majin Buu Saga, and as I was rewatching it, it kind of reminded me on how well written that saga was and stuff, because it pays back to a whole bunch of like great writing that Toriyama used to do back in OG Dragon Ball and everything. Which I'm like, damn. I'm like disappointed in the fact that we have Super now. Honestly, I gave my roommate a hot take saying that, hey, at this point they might as well just make Super like its own separate timeline and like just leave the Majin Buu saga by itself and just continue right after Goku's training with Oob and everything, because that right there, that was just, I think Majin Buu Saga was peak writing to me, because it was everything they messed up in Cell Saga, but they fixed it in Majin Buu Saga. So I'm just like,
about that.
Oh no, so I'm sorry, Cell Saga. There's a lot of things I'm frustrated with that overall.
I think I know a little bit more about Dragon Ball Z than you do, Ash. So I think my opinion obviously matters.
Well, here's the thing. I can tell you this much. A lot of people love the fights in Dragon Ball Z, obviously, but for me, what I'm looking for is not just the fights, but how do we get there? What's the story? What's the resolution? What's the climax? I want all that into one package. And the thing is, the Cell Saga, there's a lot of issues with that.
I agree. I don't think the Cell is the best, but definitely not Majin Buu. Like I would, to me, the best one is the Frieza arc, like the Frieza saga.
Oh, Frieza arc is great. Frieza arc is amazing.
Best build up, because from the get go you hear of Legendary Super Saiyan, and it's like okay, you hear Super Saiyan, but you don't know what it is, and then many times Vegeta's like, oh, is Goku Super Saiyan? And he's like, no, I've become a Super Saiyan. And then finally, at the climax, you get to see what a Super Saiyan actually is. And I think the buildup of everything was great.
For me, it was different. It was mainly because I'm a Vegeta fanboy, and I just love the fact how Vegeta just overcomes his midlife crisis of his grudge against Kakarot and everything like that, and the fact that like the way he just turns around by the end of the series is just amazing to me. And it's just I can never get over that. I love that so much. That's one of the best character writing I've ever seen from Toriyama himself. And then on top of that too, the writing that he has in Majin Buu Saga, it has a good amount of comedy and also a good amount of like seriousness as well. Because I feel like throughout the Frieza Saga and Cell Saga, it doesn't really focus too much on what Toriyama was best at, especially when back in the OG stuff. With Majin Buu, Majin Buu was a perfect balance.
Literally, I agree. It was homage to that because it had the comedy, but like Z from the get-go was meant to be like more serious, right? From with Raditz,
it can be serious, but the thing was, there were certain things that were too serious about, right? It would be weird for an OG Dragon Ball fan to go from OG Dragon Ball to Z because of course, by the end of OG Dragon Ball, things were serious, but there was also still comedy in the midst of that as well, right?
Yeah,
and from there, you're just going straight in there, not fully embracing your comedy rhyme because Toriyama was comedy first and then seriousness. If anything, he started with comedy.
That's how he started with comedy.
Yeah. So I love how he balances those two within the Majin Buu saga. So I love that a lot. And with that, I'm probably gonna follow that up with Daima and be like, "Yep, this is my own canon timeline. Let's try to ignore Super here, put that over there." And this is
Daima's great.
Yeah,
Daima's amazing.
Super can be by itself over there because at this point, people just want most muscle dudes to get new power ups and don't care about.
I think Super is the best because it's called Super.
To me, Daima feels like OG Dragon Ball mixed with Dragon Quest, like literally.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. And Star Wars. And Star Wars.
Maybe Star Wars.
Toriyama is a big Star Wars fan. If you didn't see Han Solo and Glorio, you're smoking something.
There's that. But like, I wouldn't say.
On top of that,
I could see that.
Yeah, like straight up, bro.
I could see that.
Look at him.
Yeah, but I would say like that's the only thing Star Wars reference. But like story and the adventure is definitely OG Dragon Ball mixed with Dragon Quest. Like every time I'm watching it, I'm like,
you get stupid Goku, who can't read the room.
Yeah, Kid Goku, right? Yeah, so you got him as OG Dragon Ball, but then the adventure aspect is so Dragon Quest. Like if you were to turn this into an RPG, I would this is a fun RPG, right? Making a legacy of Goku Daima or something with modern day graphics. That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be nice. Well, that's it for me.
All right, what about you, Fan?
So I've actually been playing Gravity Circuit. I picked it up when it was on Amazon Games for free, and
bring back Mega Man.
I don't know. It just felt like playing a Mega Man style game without the Mega Man. So it's a little different because after you beat each boss, you don't get their abilities. Like where Mega Man, like you get an ability after you beat a boss, right? Where you can just run through the stages, get a bunch of money or bits, like buy new abilities. But they do the one thing I did like that they do is that they have chips hidden throughout the stage where you can change or you can repaint your character, like change the color, and this certain color will have certain abilities. So one of the abilities I have right now is I can dash in the air. So like I have a double jump ability plus I can dash in the air. So it's fun and it's not super difficult. I mean, it has some difficulty, but it's not super difficult. I think I beat 2 stages in like 3 hours. I also got I went back and did a couple stages again just so I can get more items. I enjoy it. It makes me want to actually sit down and play the Z series again, from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Mega Man games, unfortunately, we have to look to indie developers creating their own. Because I think there's another one that's similar to Mega Man called is it Blaze?
20XX.
Well, there's 20XX as well, which was really good. I like it, especially as a co-op game. It's actually pretty fun. But there's the sequel 30XX. But there's another one. It's called Blaze something. I think it's called
Cyber Shadow. No, that's more like Ninja Gaiden. No, what's called Blaze?
Yeah, I think Blaze something. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know what to write to look it up. Put Mega Man like games. Let's just do that. Let's see what pops up. because it came out this year. I want to say Blaze, or maybe it starts with a B, I think, or Beast. Maybe it's Beast something. Berserk Boy. I'm wrong on both accounts. Berserk Boy is another one that's similar like Mega Man. So I believe that's available on Steam and coming later on to Switch. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is another one that you can look into if you're looking for a Mega Man like game.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's also oh my goodness, I've played this so many times too, and I bought them. Shoot, it's more like Mega Man Zero. Oh, what is it called? Shoot, you're this guy. He has a coat. He has a gun.
Azure Gunvolt.
Yes, Azure Gunvolt.
Azure Gunvolt. I have to think. I have to think on that one.
Yeah, that's another one. That's more like Mega Man Zero style or ZX style. It's actually the same team that did it, and NT Creates, the same team that did Mega Man Zero and ZX. Is
Okay.
They did that, so that's another good one. As for me, of course, Dragon Quest 3, but the other game I've been playing, I'm gonna see if you guys can see it with the camera, is this.
Metal Gear Solid
Twin
2.
Snakes.
Yeah, Twin Snakes.
Oh, Twin Snakes. Yeah, they ruined that game.
And this is the beginning again because funny thing, so was gonna do a video on this, but I was having issues with Emulation Station, and Emulation Station basically was not like opening up games. Typically, I would open up a game, right in this menu, and then it'll go to the emulator and say, "Cannot find file path." I've asked like plenty of times. I went into the Emulation Station like Discord channel trying to figure it out because I could not figure out and why it would not launch. And then I realized that on Android, I guess when you download Emulation Station, the name of the path that's already set is kind of like set in stone. So if you change the path, like for example, I had ROMs, but I guess I made it uppercase, it would not work. I had to make it lowercase for it to work and then launch on in the emulator, which was kind of weird. But I was having that way like PS2 emulation, GameCube,
Like that for PC.
Yeah, and usually I
Like
know they're
emulation
like
same way.
case sensitive. But I'm like, I don't remember changing like the folder, but I guess I did. Maybe I don't know. So, anyways, finally I got it fixed, and then I was able to do that. And what happened is I did so many things. I like changed different versions of Dolphin, see if that's what's having the issue, and of course I had to restart Twin Snakes because not realize that I thought it would keep my save data there. The minute I went in, actually I uninstalled Dolphin because it was letting me install it with the update. I had to uninstall it and then reinstall it, and then my save data went away. So I was like, great, I have to start all over again. But yeah, I've been playing Twin Snakes, and I don't know, I
Play Eternal Darkness, James. I would love to hear your thoughts of Eternal Darkness.
do want to play that eventually. I definitely do want to play that. Probably I gotta put that on the Retro Pocket. Maybe when I get the Retro Pocket 5, play it on there.
I'll try to play it too if I got time. So
yeah, so
it's and here's the thing, it's easy to get into. It's not like a Resident Evil type where it's like really slow and prodding puzzles and all that. It's actually really easy to get into, and you got also some fun.
It's not that slow.
No, I love Resident Evil. I'm just saying it's more actiony, I would say, than the original Resident Evil games are. Like I get that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, playing Metal Gear Solid just reminds me of how good the series is. Like I did
I didn't care for Twin Snakes, man.
Well, I've never played Twin Snakes. It's my first time.
Okay.
Like I played MGS 1, 2, 3 of course.
I don't like how they got rid of the accents. Did you notice that? They got rid of the accents for the characters.
No, I didn't. I haven't gotten that far in there. Like for who? For like Liquid Snake?
For like all of them. Like I don't think Naomi has a British accent anymore. And I think her name's Waylon.
You're right.
Yeah, and Waylon, is that her name? The chick that saves for you. Mei-Ling, yeah. She doesn't have an accent anymore either.
A Chinese accent before, now she
Correct.
doesn't.
Yeah. And then also too, the Ocelot boss battle is kind of messed up too, because part of the challenge in the original was is that you're third person, you have to like really be quick and stuff. Now it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna fire at you in first person. So I like that they made it look very pretty. It looks gorgeous, right? And the original Metal Gear Solid deserves to be gorgeous, but I don't like the couple of the changes they made. Also on GameCube, playing that game was a nightmare. Just the controlling was really complicated. I didn't care for it.
It is like to save or to go into the codec, you have to press like start and A, and of course on the Retro Pocket, which is not a GameCube, I literally have to every time like somebody calls me, I have to like go like this all the time. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
very annoying. There wasn't enough buttons on there. But yeah, I didn't realize that accent because I got used to Metal Gear Solid 4. Naomi's voice is the same as in Twin Snakes, so, which is if you notice, it's the same voice actor there. And then I don't even know if Mei Ling. I know Mei Ling shows up in Metal Gear Solid 4. I just don't remember if she even says anything in Metal Gear Solid 4. Or I think she does, right? Because right before you do the like.
I don't remember. I played that a long time. I played 4 a long time ago.
Yeah, same here. It was a long time. And I was trying to remember. I think she does talk, but I don't. I assume it's probably the same voice actor. That's probably why they did that. I don't know. I think I'm just making up stuff. But no, I agree with that. But the Metal Gear Solid franchise is just so good. Like story wise, it's great.
Oh, for sure.
Pretty scary because it's almost like the future, right? With AI and stuff. Like Metal Gear Solid 2's biggest thing was AI controlling everything.
Yep.
A lot of like the politics in it,
misinformation and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of like the themes in it. It's like Kojima. I don't know. Maybe he's from the future, and he was trying to warn everybody between that and then Death Stranding. It's kind of
also came out on Xbox. That's worth saying. If you haven't played Death Stranding and you own an Xbox, go buy it on Xbox for $20, worth every penny.
No, what makes me wonder is maybe it's a good thing that Kojima didn't do a Silent Hill game, because maybe he might predict that and like something.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, something
because he got Death Stranding right.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want a real life pyramid head, chasing us around.
No thanks.
But yeah, mainly those. This week I'm definitely gonna be just Dragon Quest III. Like that's really what I'm gonna be diving into. I do plan to do finally the Retroid Pocket mini video now that everything is set, and I'm loving it. So that is coming up this week. Also, I have 2 other videos that will be popping up later on this week. So I'm gonna have 3 videos this week. So definitely keep an eye out on those. They're gonna be interesting videos. So I'm gonna have 3 videos coming out this week. My Ambernet controller comes in later on this week as well. That is not gonna be one of my videos, just to let you know. That will not be one of my videos, but I'm excited for it because I just want to see how it is for $15. I really want to see how it feels compared to like the Gola Kit KK3 Max controller, because I don't think it can hold up to this, but we'll see how that goes. But that brings us to the end of the podcast today. I appreciate everybody for joining us as always. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It does help out a lot. Share the channel, that helps out a lot. If you are new to the podcast and never watched the podcast, you can go ahead and watch it. There is a YouTube playlist that has all the past episodes. You can kind of get a feel for what we've talked about in the past. There are some other episodes that are nothing to do with current events and rather just like things that we like. We have a tier list out there, for example, for consoles, which was a very fun episode. Definitely take a look at that. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks to Bryant, who's kind of took over that duty of uploading everything. Helps me out a lot. And, that's been a big help. So I do appreciate you for doing that, Bryant. But he's always uploading that. And you can always, subscribe on there. And when new episodes pop up, that notification pops up and you can definitely watch us there. If you are on Twitch, follow on Twitch. It helps out a lot. If you have Amazon Prime, feel free to use that Prime sub. That also helps out a lot as well, because there's just too many things there are out there that I have to buy and review, or try to review rather. So yeah, it gets pricey. Like I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be, especially this year, and it's very expensive. That's not including like games that I want to talk about, stuff like that. Speaking of that, I did forget to say, and I got to mention this every stream. Thank you, Square Enix. Yeah, thank you, Square Enix, for providing Dragon Quest. They were the ones that provided me with the review code and everything like that. So shout out to them for actually giving that to me. Really helps out a lot. I will have some Dragon Quest videos up as well. I am going to discuss Dragon Quest 3, so that is going to be a couple of videos. I'll probably have a short on that, as well as some other stuff like Steam Deck, how it looks and runs on the Steam Deck, how it runs on ROG Ally X, all that other good stuff. I will have videos on that as well.
You know what? With them giving you a review code for that, maybe you should start talking about Capcom and more stuff and get your new Mega Man game or your Breath of Fire series back.
I have two of my best viewed videos are Capcom videos from Mega Man, and yeah, I've tried to get into their insider program, and I just think not enough, which is weird because Square Enix has given me 2 codes now: Final Fantasy 16 and Dragon Quest, but I think it's because I made a Final Fantasy 16 video specifically, which didn't have that many views, which is funny. And I also made a short of that running on Steam Deck on PC, so maybe that's why. But then, of course, we have the Dragon Quest episode, and then we had the Dragon Quest podcast as well. So I think that kind of helps out. And I think also us having Geekdom 101 and Sack Chief on it probably helps out too, because since they were guests on the podcast, they kind of see that correlation on there. So I think so. I don't know. I really don't know what the factor is in getting these review codes. So I think once I find out, I would like to share that, because I don't think anybody shares what those factors are. I definitely will make a video on just sharing that, because for anybody else,
well, if you're allowed to, because then you don't want to lose the the ability to get them either.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. There is that as well. But yeah, once again, shout out Square Enix for providing me with the code. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not poor no more. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Ash, where can I catch you at?
They can catch me at Ash Sherm on YouTube. So I haven't uploaded anything yet. Don't know when. So
What about you, fan?
Yeah, you can catch me at Phaneckswhy on Twitch, YouTube, X. I guess at Blue Sky now, since seems like people are jumping ship on X to Blue Sky.
What about you, Brian?
Are you on Blue Sky, fan? I tried looking for it. I didn't see you.
I just signed up today. So
Okay, all right, I'll look for you.
find me
again.
there.
I did sign up for Blue Sky too.
I followed you, Ash. I don't know if you saw it, but I followed you.
Oh, I kind of just said it, forget it, so I didn't know.
I'll tell you this, like a feature that I hope comes to Blue Sky is the ability to
get notifications from one person.
Well, I don't know.
That's
about
my
that.
big thing.
Oh, that's your
Because
big
I want to
thing?
get Wario tweets.
Okay.
And you can't do it.
It's in the Discord. You can just put that.
Yeah, but there's a delay on the Discord for me, and
Is
with
there?
Wario
Oh, okay.
tweets, with Wario tweets, you got to be there right at the second. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. For me, it's just a scheduling post. So for like the podcast in X, I can put everything. Forget X. If in Twitter, I can put everything there. Right, have the link, have everything, and then schedule it for whenever I'm gonna go live. On Blue Sky, like I was checking today, there isn't. So I have to kind of like stay on that screen, and then once it's time, I gotta hit post and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, it's literally just Twitter. There's no, from what I understand, there's no algorithm, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that, but yeah, a lot of people are there. I guess the only thing also is they don't have none of the major I guess businesses, like Nintendo's not on there. Xbox just got on there, but like PlayStation's not on there.
No.
Or like 8-bit do.
I think PlayStation is on there actually.
There's
Nintendo isn't, but I think PlayStation is now.
Are they? Because I thought I checked.
Yeah, there haven't been any posts, but it looked official to me.
Oh, because there was a PlayStation thing there, but it says it's not the official PlayStation. What's it called?
Let me look.
Other official channel or
yeah.
handle or...
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Because I had followed that, and it's basically they're reposting whatever PlayStation posts on Twitter. So there's that there. Like I mentioned, like I'm not leaving Twitter. I'll be on there as well. Yeah. See,
it's a reposter. It looks real good though. It looks like it could be real.
Yep, and the Nintendo one is the same thing too. It's a reposter as well, but like they're not on there. Like 8-bit do is not on there. Amber Nick, and like all the other
probably come because everybody's migrating.
Yeah, I think they'll come sooner rather than later. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're all available on both, so you can go ahead and follow us on either Blue Sky or X, whichever one you decide on there. Brian, did you say your exit?
Yeah, so I put my Twitter as private, and I unfollowed pretty much everybody except for Wario and maybe like one other two people. As soon as Blue Sky gives you the ability to get notifications from an account, I am going to delete my Twitter. For now, it's not the place to find me. I'm not going to post anything on it. It's marked private. I'm just not using it anymore because I'm very against everything. So I am on Blue Sky, and I'm at Red So Deep with one word, and I'll be posting on there a lot more regularly. And yeah, that's where you can find me now.
Awesome. And as always, you can find me here. Like I said, when it comes to like social media posts, I don't do a lot, but every now and then I might post something or give my quick thoughts on something that gets announced or something that's coming or whatever the case might be. But you can find me the Random Encounter. No, I'm sorry, TRE Podcast in X, because we couldn't do the Random Encounter there. But on Blue Sky, it's the Random Encounter, which I'm happy
You got
about. Yes, I got that there. Because so when Blue Sky was like in their beta phase, I signed up for it. And then the minute I got in, I quickly made that name. Yeah, I nabbed it, put the picture there, and I just kept it there. I sat on it, waiting to see what happens in case, people migrated it over there and stuff like that. Which paid off in the long run because people are migrating there. So I'm happy for that. I just wish Twitch would give me the Random Encounter so I don't have to be the Random Encounter podcast. Like, it bothers me, but whatever. I got to figure out, because the person who has the Random Encounter is just an account there, but that's it.
They don't post anything.
They don't post anything. They don't do anything. It's just there. That's it.
Yeah, some people do that. Where like they'll just grab it and hoping like if someone wants it, they'll sell them the name.
Pretty much.
You'd probably buy it if the price was right. If it was like cheap enough. If it was like a couple $100 or whatever.
I'll
If
send
it's
them
like tens of thousands or something.
I'll send them a Twix. They can go ahead and pick up a Twix.
Send them an Abernick HYCX or whatever.
Yeah, no, I will not send them that. All right, but yeah, like, subscribe, follow, all that other good stuff. Thank you, Fan. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Bryant, and we will catch you guys later on in the week. Take care.